Well, can you believe this? The UK Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, wants to pay asylum seekers even more taxpayer dollars to persuade them to leave voluntarily. Have a listen to this.
For each asylum seeker in the country, it's £30,000 per individual per year. So it's a big sum of money. And if we can persuade people to return to their home country, with a cash payment, that is often better value for the taxpayer. I know it sticks in the craw of many people and they don't like it, but it is value for money.
Joining me now is Reform UK Councillor Darren Grimes. Darren, thanks as always for joining me. Is that seriously Labor's solution to immigration?
Oh, it absolutely is, Danica. Look, they won't leave the clutches of the European Court, the ECHR, human rights quangos and all the rest of it. So they're keeping us locked in. And this is their solution, to say to so-called asylum seekers, well, we'll pay you to leave. Well, actually, no, we should just be saying to people, if you are here illegally, frankly, you ought to go. You should never have been allowed to stay. You sneak in, you clog up the so-called asylum system, you cost the taxpayer an absolute fortune, and then we bribe you to leave. Only in Britain could a failure to actually police your own border be turned into a state-sponsored gift voucher. And Mahmood says it's value for money. Who exactly is it value for? It ain't the British public, who are increasingly unsafe. It ain't the British taxpayer who are funding this madness. And it certainly isn't down to the voters who consistently say they want the Australian style of border control, where actually people are sent back. And the asylum seeker actually gets a bigger payout than some of our pensioners are actually getting right now. It's not border policy, it's a clearance sale, right? It's saying everything must go and we're going to throw absolutely everything we've got at this and we'll pay you to take the exit. We are a weak country under this lot. We keep asking for control, Danica, but Labour are doling out coupons instead. It's absurd.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. It is absurd. It is absolutely ridiculous that once again it's all been put onto the British taxpayer for Labor's absolute failure to control the borders. Now, Darren, an inquiry has found the UK response to COVID was too little too late and led to thousands more deaths in the first wave. But Darren, I mean, there would be many that would actually think the opposite here, that the response was too heavy-handed. So what on earth has this inquiry actually achieved?
Oh, Danica, this inquiry is a £200 million disgrace, in my opinion. It's basically the conclusion I knew. If you'd asked me a year ago what the conclusion of this inquiry would be, I would have told you exactly this, that actually it would be like a line for a really dodgy film, a promotion for a really dodgy film, in which they say we ought to have gone faster, harder, longer, right? That's exactly what they've concluded. £200 million to tell us that we should have locked down even faster, that we should have done it even longer, that actually the hurt and the pain that was caused by those series of lockdowns wasn't enough, and that actually the government should have done it even more draconian fashion and natured. To me, it's an absurdity. You cannot, I think, at that time, you could not have gone any further with the response than we did. The likes of Sweden didn't do what we did, and actually they came out of it a lot better. I think the inquiry was always going to conclude this. It was always going to be a grotesque waste of money, and I'm quite frankly sickened and appalled by it. The solution was never to do what we did. I think I've always thought after the first lockdown, I said it was cruel. I said, I don't think we should be doing this. And I think actually many of us have been vindicated since, with even the likes of Piers Morgan, who, by the way, was the sort of broadcasting lockdown in chief, broadcaster. He actually concluded that maybe he was wrong on some things. And I think he was ultimately wrong on many things. So, Danica, I'm not a fan of this inquiry. I think actually it's a complete disservice to the British people, but also to any pandemic preparedness for the future, because I've got no confidence that they wouldn't do this again.
And same in Australia. I wouldn't put it past them either. Exactly the same issue.